Wonderful. Welcome to the call. My name is Allison Hodges, and I'm going to introduce our speakers right up front. We are all partners with the Juice Plus Company, whose mission is inspiring healthy living around the world. And we know that you will be inspired tonight as you hear these personal testimonies and the power of whole food nutrition. Our first speaker is Brenda Proctor, who is a retired public school teacher from Indiana who delights in sharing her story of health recovery through nutrition and lifestyle choices. Karen Farrell is a wife of almost 43 years, a mother to three amazing men, and a grandmother of three. She had 8 autoimmune issues that she dealt with for 29 years, and now she shares her health journey so others can know that there is always hope. Elaine Mason is a certified health coach, and she has been a health advocate with the Juice Plus Company for 24 years, and she will be sharing the research behind our nutritional products. And though Juice Plus does not purport to cure any disease, after you hear these stories and the information that Elaine will share regarding the research, you will find that this statement is very hard to abide by. I'm going to turn it over now to Brenda Proctor.
Hi, everyone. Like Allison said, I'm a single mom and a retired public school teacher. My Juice Plus story began about 21 years ago. If you had met me then, you would have had no idea how sick I really was. Even though I've always been pretty healthy and worked out my whole life, my health really began to deteriorate when my son, it was in high school, and he began struggling with drug addiction as a result of father wounding. His addiction continued for many, many years, requiring me to supplement my teaching income in any way I could to help cover the cost of rehab centers and many, many programs. As a result of worry and stress, I began dealing with many debilitating illnesses. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, all 18 pressure points. Every month, I drove an hour away to an autoimmune specialist who said I had one of the most inflamed bodies he had ever seen. I would walk several miles. I'd have to every day after school because if I didn't, I couldn't move the next day. I had level 3 to 4 adrenal burnout, chronic migraines, chronic digestive issues. I didn't sleep at night. I was in pain every day and had recently been diagnosed with cervical cancer. I was sick and scared. I was doing everything I knew to do, but I was worse every day. But as a single mom with no plan B, I had to get up and go to work no matter how I felt. I was going to multiple doctors. I was taking 13 prescriptions and over 50 supplements every day. I was desperate to feel better, to be healthy, or at least healthier. Not long after being given the cancer diagnosis, I was introduced to Juice Plus by my brother and sister-in-law. For me, Juice Plus was just a no-brainer because getting high-quality fruits and vegetables in my system every day just made sense. I love fruits and vegetables, but I knew we weren't eating enough. So I decided just to add Juice Plus to what I was already doing. And I'll be honest with you, I really wasn't expecting very much. But 2 weeks later, I slept through the night for the first time in 20 years. It rocked me. I called my brother a couple days later and asked him to give me the name of the person that had introduced him to Juice Plus. That's how I met Elaine, that you're going to hear from soon. I shared my story with her and I just asked her, hey, how much of this stuff can I take? And she just laughed and she said, it's just food, as much as you can afford. So I told her that I was taking 13 prescriptions and over 50 supplements a day. And she said, she wasn't a doctor, so she couldn't advise me about the prescriptions, but she really urged me to begin researching nutrition and vitamin supplements. And so that's what I did for the next couple of weeks. Every night I would come home and start researching. And what I learned really is that there's hardly any evidence that isolated supplements do anything good for you. And some of them are even dangerous. So I decided to cold turkey off of all of the supplements. And I began taking double Juice Plus daily, which I've done every single day since. Well, my health began to steadily improve. And within a year, I was off of all my medications. I went back to the cancer doctor 6 months after I had started on Juice Plus, and he was uh, examining me, and he kept going, hmm. And finally I said, what's going on? And he goes, well, you appear to be, and he put his fingers up and did the quote sign, holding your own. And I said, I'm getting well. And he looked startled. And he said, well, yeah, it's a great regimen, And I said, I haven't done any of it. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I haven't filled your prescriptions. And he goes, well, you're taking chemo and radiation, aren't you? I said, no. And he goes, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. And he looked at me like I'd lost my mind, which I'm sure he thought. But I went back at 12 months, the same thing, 18 months, the same thing. At 2 years, he never said a word to me, but he had one of his team members put a sticky note on my paperwork, and he said, you're cancer free. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. So within a year, I was off of all my medications. At 2 years, I was cancer free without chemo or radiation. By the middle of the third year, I no longer had any fibromyalgia symptoms. And you hear about people getting over cancer, but fibromyalgia is usually a life sentence. And it actually took me 4 years to have regular bowel movements, because I just didn't for many, many years of my life. And so I'm a really regular kind of girl now. And I was never in a hurry. I was always so thrilled with every incremental addition to my, wellness in my body, because I had been so sick. And so I was just thrilled with everything that happened to me. Today, 21 years later, I work out daily. I take no prescription medications, and I truly feel great every day, even after having two major back-to-back surgeries in 2019 and 2020. I have never missed a day of flooding my body with Juice Plus capsules and omegas, and I've always had at least one, and usually now two, complete shakes every day, because I love the way I feel. When I first signed the application to become a Juice Plus partner, I had no idea this would become a career. But this didn't feel like a plan like of any other business. This was about helping people get well. So now that my health was improving, I really dreamed about retiring from teaching and being able to work my Juice Plus business full time. So I dedicated my Juice Plus earnings to paying off my house and my car, and I became debt free. And in 2013, I was able to retire from teaching, something most teachers, especially single mom teachers, only dream about. And after only 2 months of being able to work my Juice Plus business full time, my Juice Plus check beat my retirement check. I often wonder, what if no one had told me about Juice Plus? What would my health be like right now? Would I have been able to keep working long enough to retire? Would I have had to go on disability, or would I even still be here? I truly don't know. I was pretty sick. I will never be blasé about our founder, Jay Martin's mission statement to build a stable and lasting company that will help as many people as possible realize their dreams. When you've been through hard times, like all of us have been the last couple of years, I think dreaming is often the first thing to go. I had to learn to dream again. I was in survival mode. But you know what? I'm pretty good at it. I consider this Plan B opportunity was and is my golden ticket to a life of great health, time freedom, financial freedom, and unlimited choices. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story with you.
Beautiful, Brenda. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be sharing with you tonight. My story is a health journey as well that began back in 1989 when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I was told it wasn't degenerative, but I wasn't getting better. Years later, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroid disease. Again, I thought I had the answer, but I continued to decline. I then was diagnosed with interstitial cystitis, irritable bowel, Raynaud's, Sjogren's, rheumatoid arthritis, and finally lupus in 2016 when I was at my worst and in bed most days. Symptomatically, I had extreme fatigue and had trouble lifting my head up off the pillow. My muscles and joints had constant pain of either stabbing, throbbing, or aching. It was like having a flu bug 24/7, only magnified. I had severe brain fog and struggled to find my words. There was dizziness and nausea, migraines that felt like a knife coming out the top of my head. I had sores in my scalp, nose, and mouth, hair loss, the telltale lupus rash on my face that would blister and leak. I had chest pains that resembled a heart attack, abdominal issues, constant UTIs, and was always on an antibiotic, numbness and tingling in my arms and legs, edema in my legs. My fingers would turn a purplish blue in the cold, and I almost never slept a full night. All of this was invisible to everyone, so not many were understanding to the pain that I was in. When a dermatologist suggested that I had lupus, I then contacted my dear friend, Dr. Trin Tran, who's a rheumatologist, and she readily took me into her practice. She confirmed the diagnosis that the dermatologist had determined, and we began a litany of drugs to try to heal me. We began with 3 of them, one at a time, but they didn't do much, and they had potential serious side effects. These were in addition to the other drugs that I was already taking. Then we added the big guns, Benlysta, which is a biologic in the immunosuppressant classification of drugs. I was on monthly infusions for 12 months and then switched to the subcutaneous shots for 6 months. They made me very sick, and I lost a day in bed with each infusion and shot. The infusions took about 5 days to kick in, and I felt pretty good for about a week and a half. And then I started to go downhill until my next infusion. The weekly shots bruised me, caused swelling, and were so painful. Now, I do have to say that the Benlysta helped a little bit. But you know what? 50% still enough. So I got depressed. Phone stopped ringing. And I know that family and friends assumed that I was either asleep or resting. And 9 times out of 10, they would have been right. So I remember April 1st, 2018, I cried to my husband, and I'm not a whiner, but I told him that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I wanted my life to have meaning again, and I was tired of being a financial burden. Well, from my mouth to God's ears, that very next day, I received a phone call from Dr. Tran. She asked me if I'd heard of a product called Juice Plus because she wanted me to give it a try. I told her that I hadn't. And when she explained that it was just fruits and vegetables in a capsule, I was on board and I asked her to order it for me. I was on almost 7,000 per month in medications. What difference could Juice Plus possibly make financially? 3 days after eating Juice Plus, I didn't take a nap. And I always napped, especially if I had an evening function to attend. Let's fast forward 2 weeks. I was cleaning closets and packing boxes for an upcoming move. I was like the Energizer Bunny. My husband just looked at me and said, "What has gotten into you?" And I told him that it was the Juice Plus. And that he said, "Well, keep taking it because it's working." When I reported these results to Dr. Tran, she began weaning me off my first medication. A week later, she discontinued the Benlysta because I was feeling so much better. And I was alarmed at that because I thought, wait, no lifeline? I can't stop medications. I thought the only thing that would ever heal anyone was a pill or an injection. And I was getting better. My energy level was high, and my symptoms were getting in check with each passing week. In fact, in 2.5 months in, Dr. Tran ordered my lupus infector panel. And for the first time in 30 years, my blood work was in the normal range. I was finally getting better and had hope. 2 weeks later, my eye doctor told me that my eyes had improved. I'm sorry, my age, eyes don't improve. 5 months after eating Juice Plus, my dentist informed me that for the first time in all the years I've been seeing him, that my gums didn't bleed. So Dr. Tran asked me to share Juice Plus as a business, and I gently declined and told her that I was happy to send her referrals. She asked me again and told me that I had a great story to share with others. I thanked her, and I still said no. In fact, I was downright stubborn. But when I answered the question, where would I be? She hadn't shared with me. The answer was easy. So I decided I was going to work with a company that saved my life. And that's exactly what I do. I'm on a mission to share the healing and protective properties of Juice Plus with anyone who will listen to me. Together with my team, one person at a time, we're making a difference in the lives of those we love and care about. You know what? I'm no longer sick and tired. My life does have meaning again because I'm helping people get and stay healthy while working with an amazing group of like-minded individuals with similar goals. I'm no longer a financial burden as I'm off 9 out of 10 medications and I only see my doctors for well visits now. Best of all, I'm assisting financially, and you have no idea how wonderful that feels. Juice Plus is my miracle, and I hope it can be yours as well. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you. And now I'll turn it over to Elaine.
You know, I've heard both Brenda and Karen are dear friends of mine, and I've heard their stories before, but every time it chokes me up, it inspires me, not only to just keep pursuing, as Karen said and Brenda said, just the what we've known. And same thing, my husband said to me, how can you withhold the information that you have been given? And so I'm excited to be here this evening as well. You may be on this call and you may know about Juice Plus, or maybe you've never heard of Juice Plus before. And so I just wanted to take a few minutes to share what Juice Plus is, and then the research behind Juice Plus. Many times we'll hear stories, I don't think impactful like these two you've just heard tonight, but there's never research behind why what they saw happen. It's just food, kind of back to what Brenda said. She wasn't expecting anything, but we don't realize how powerful food is. Juice Plus is 40 different fruits, vegetables, berries, and omegas. It's packed full of nutrition. It's not, if you turn these bottles around, you're not going to see a supplement label. Brenda said she was on 50 some supplements. What's going to be on the back of that label is a nutrition label showing that it is packed full of nutrition. The thing that really, for me personally, drew me to Juice Plus, and sometimes it takes a bumpy ride, as you heard from both Brenda and Karen. My husband and I were in our 30s when we got started on Juice Plus. It was the year was 20, let's see, my goodness, I got a 1999, good grief. That's how long I've been on Juice Plus. And we were taking a supplement, thought that's what you did to get healthy. That was our year, 1999. We considered it was our year of health. But shortly into our year of health, my husband had blood work done only to find out that his iron was sky high, dangerously high. The only thing we could think was getting off this isolated supplement that we were taking. Sure enough, 3 months later, his iron was back down into normal ranges. So it sent me on this journey of saying, okay, if taking a vitamin supplement isn't how you get healthy, what do you do? And back then, unlike today, when we are bombarded with the information, everything I found pointed back to whole food nutrition, whole food nutrition. And I love that saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And it was at about that time someone introduced Juice Plus to us. And so I thought, we were trying to juice. Anybody else out there juice? We were not good at juicing. I'll tell you that. My husband traveled all the time, and a 1 and a 3-year-old setting that green drink down in front of him was like asking for a war to begin. And when I heard about Juice Plus, this whole food concentrate that came in capsule and gummy form, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what we've been looking for. And we started on Juice Plus immediately, and we never looked back. But the thing I think that really opened my eyes to being accepting, because at the time I felt like we had no excess money. So I had to make sure what we were going to purchase was really going to be effective. And so we started on Juice Plus, but what really changed it for me is the research, that I knew what I was putting in my family's body. And tonight, I just want to share a little bit about what the enormous body of research that Juice Plus has on it. 48 peer-reviewed medical studies. You know, if you're looking at a pharmaceutical, typically 1 or 2 studies and it's on the market. 48 studies. And I love that Dr. Mitra Ray has consolidated this information and put it in a timeline. So we know exactly what's going on in your body. And as we walk through this research, it's going to tie back to why Karen and Brenda saw some of the amazing things they saw. And as you heard both of them, it wasn't like a magic pill. It was over time that nutrition got into their cells. Our bodies are remarkable. And what our bodies are able to do, if given the raw material, is amazing. So what happens if you were to start taking Juice Plus? Well, 2 to 10 hours in, significant rise in a variety of polyphenols, which this is a family of nutrients that are closely tied to slowing down the aging process. I'm approaching 60 and I'm all about slowing down the aging process. And so what they began, they took these individuals, they were fasting, gave them Juice Plus, and the polyphenols, which is a nutrient, begins showing up in their bloodstream. Here's the amazing thing that gets me. When Juice Plus allows a university to research Juice Plus or a doctor, once that permission is given, their hands are off of that. We don't know what the outcome's going to be. And these researchers were blown away because what they found out was once those polyphenols intersected with their microbiome in their liver, they begin to produce more polyphenols, which again comes back to this: when we give our body whole food nutrition, our bodies know what to do with it. Well, 7 to 28 days in, now we're starting to see even more nutrients showing up in the bloodstream. You know, I remember, it's been years, but I remember reading where it said we've only discovered like 108 minerals and 32 vitamins. You know, what my husband and I were on that caused my husband's iron numbers to go crazy was just 100. We've only discovered so many nutrients, but guess how many are in an apple? Over 10,000 phytonutrients. So if I'm going to base my health on an isolated supplement, and we've only discovered so many, I'm not even getting 1% of that 10,000 we find in an apple. And so suddenly, because Juice Plus is whole food and the power of whole food, and our body knows what to do and can absorb it. You see there where it says the bioavailability. Our body understands what whole food nutrition is and begins to use it. So if we're talking about vitamin C, these are some nutrients we know. We know it's better blood flow for diabetics. We also know that beta carotene will boost cognitive function. Folate is huge when it comes to brain development. Lutein, zeaxanthin, vision health. Selenium, thyroid function. All of these are nutrients found in whole food. And 7 to 28 days, they start showing up in your body. In 2 weeks, significant improvement in recovery from exercise-induced oxidation. I remember Dr. Du Bois saying every aging process, disease, and death all ties back to either oxidation or inflammation. And we need to exercise, but it causes oxidation. But the beautiful thing about whole food nutrition is packed full of antioxidants, wrapping around your cells, protecting against that oxidation. You slice an apple in half, what happens? It starts getting brown. But if you cover it with lemon juice, what happens? It slows down that aging process. Think about Juice Plus as being the lemon juice covering your cells, because that's exactly what's going on. In 80 days, it significantly decreases your DNA damage. You've got those wrinkles around your eyes, your joints are hurting. That's that DNA damage taking place. We don't want that replicated year after year. We want our DNA to get better. And that's what Juice Plus is doing. In 4 weeks, we begin seeing gum health, skin health, cardiovascular health improved, pulmonary function. Why is that? In 4 months, your red blood cells change over. That's why your systems throughout your body. You know, you heard both Karen and Brenda talking about gradually, the longer they were on Juice Plus, the better the results they started to see, because those systems and their organs began to get better because it was your body's getting fed the nutrition that it needs. Then 2 to 4 months, we're looking at butyrate levels increase, better gut health, better glucose clearance. Butyrate. 24 years ago, I don't even know if the word butyrate was around. I know I didn't know it. But because I've been taking Juice Plus for 24 years, I've got the benefit of butyrate level increased, better gut health. All those things were happening even when I didn't know what they were and what was going on. You know, that one of the things I noticed, I started in my 30s, so I didn't have any health issues. But suddenly I had people coming up to me saying, "What are you doing, Elaine?" I'm like, "What do you mean, what am I doing?" Your face, it's like it's got color in it now. And it just looks healthy. And it suddenly, my body had nutrition going through my body, getting it day in and day out. And these things were happening inside, whether even I knew from the outside, I didn't even know it was going on. 16 weeks in, improvement in better working memory, selective attention, processing speed, executive function. Who wants better brain health? You know, in 2018, the brain, we have more issues with our brain than we do it with our heart anymore. The brain has exceeded the heart in being the organ. If there's such a word as being sicker, it's sicker. 6 months in, reduction in fat loss, reduction in insulin resistance, increase in lean muscle mass. We hear a lot about insulin resistance. 6 months in, we're beginning to see that impact our body. And then 8 months in, improved immunity, fewer common cold symptoms and sick days. I love what Dr. Mitra Ray says. She talks about the immune system and something called plasticity in relationship to our immune system. And she said plasticity is when your immune system is able to see a bacteria, a virus, a parasite, something it's not familiar with. But because your immune system is so healthy, it's able to mount a defense and go after the invader. Who doesn't want that going on? Who doesn't want their immune system functioning at peak capacity? And then lastly, millions of coronary events avoided and billions of healthcare costs. This was retroactive research done. What if we were taking Juice Plus? Millions of coronary events avoided, billions of healthcare costs avoided. You know, I heard it once said that Americans, we live short and we die long. I don't want that being said about me. I don't know how many years God's going to have me on this earth, but I want to live long and die short. It's been said that 90% of our healthcare dollars are spent in the last 3 months of our life. What if you, like Brenda, Karen, and myself have done, taken that 90% of our healthcare dollars and we've invested it in ourselves throughout our lifetime? Let's live long and die short. Allison, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Well, thank you all for just spending this time with us. And we hope that you were very encouraged in just knowing that we can take hold of our health and change our trajectory. You know, it is just impossible to get the number and the variety of fruits and vegetables that we need every single day for optimal health. And so we just invite you to bridge your nutritional gap with our Juice Plus plant powders. I was taking notes as Elaine was sharing, and I've heard this a lot, but it's just so powerful, all this information. But you may have been listening tonight and were thinking of family or close friends that you really want to hear this information. I know that resonated with me. And so we invite you to partner with the company, to join our mission, and to share with those who are closest to you. And I don't want to end tonight without addressing what we all have, which is not just a nutritional gap, but also a financial gap. I think that we are all realizing the importance and the value of building multiple streams of income. And so we invite you to join our mission. You know, there is a world out there of people who are sick and hopeless, and we have good news. We have good news to share. And so we would love to have you join us. I just invite you to get back with the person who invited you to this call if you're open to learning more about any of these options. And we just thank you again for joining us, and we hope you have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you. That was